The 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China, meeting in October 2022, made it explicit that the party is leading China in a two-step process to full modernization and national rejuvenation. Basically realize socialist modernization by 2035 and build a great modern socialist country by mid-century. The latter is described by 6 aspirational adjectives: prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful. In his 2023 New Year's address, President Xi Jinping linked 3 overarching concepts. The first is building a modern socialist country in all respects, which is the objective to be constructed. The second is the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, which is the ultimate goal. And the third is a Chinese path to modernization, which is the mechanism or path to achieve the objective and the goal. We focus on the last, Chinese modernization. What does it mean? What are its key features? In specific, how to achieve high-quality development and high-level opening up? What's the role of China's innovation-driven strategy? We explore the tasks and targets and the challenges of Chinese modernization to be closer to China. Paris polypilla, known as chenglu in Chinese, is a valuable herb. It was once on the verge of extinction in the wild due to high market demand. Now efforts are made to reach a balance between resource utilization and preservation.
We first domesticated the wild seedlings and selected some good ones for trial cultivation. We then expanded by engaging farmers in different areas.
Some scientists are also exploring ways for sustainable development, such as promoting underwood planting of medicinal herbs.
We've
used a good natural environment, especially the fertile humus soil in the forests, to develop a new cultivation technology. More herbs apart from sanqi will be planted in this way. No pesticides or fertilizers are used, and it doesn't take up any farmland.
This has proved an effective way to drive rural development.
The program benefits us a lot. It's hard to save money from traditional farming. I can earn some 3,000 yuan by working at this base and can make some savings.
With the support of technologies, farmers get higher incomes and the industry is boosted. It exemplifies China's path toward modernization.
Chinese modernization is about the goals and paths of China's future development. That is to say, it is to decide in what way or through what path China will take to realize its modernization. It highlights the need to bear China's national conditions in mind and to explore paths suited to the realities of China. Looking back at the human history of modernization, we can see it clearly that over 200 years of Western modernization is more of a development in chronological order, from industrialization to urbanization to agricultural modernization and to informatization. That is their development sequence. China should tap into the advantage of being a latecomer, which allows different sectors to develop in parallel. That is, to enable industrialization, informatization, urbanization, and agricultural modernization to go in tandem.
I believe Chinese modernization has 3 characteristics. First, China is home to 1.4 billion people with disparities in our eastern, southern, western, northern, and central regions. In such a big populous country with imbalanced growth to realize modernization, its methods and features of advancement and pathways of development will be unique. Second, we practice socialism with Chinese characteristics, and common prosperity represents a defining feature of our system. Third, in traditional Chinese culture, take the unification of heaven and humanity into one, for example, It refers to the harmony between man and nature. In addition, our traditions stress benevolence and honesty, which are actually about harmony, cooperation, and win-win. So, Chinese modernization emphasizes a harmonious coexistence between man and nature, and modernization based on a path of peaceful development.
Chinese modernization is the mechanism or path to construct a modern socialist country and to realize the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. This is why we should drill down to examine its key features. Modernization anywhere in the world means the necessities, conveniences, and enrichments of life, including quality healthcare, education, and entertainment, as well as quality homes, jobs, and lifestyles. Our challenge is to discern how the adjective Chinese modifies modernization. I highlight 2 points. First, Chinese implies a huge population with significant disparities between urban and rural areas. Thus, Chinese modernization must reduce this gap and embrace the entire population with common prosperity. Second, throughout its long history, China has almost always had a strong government. And indeed, in today's party-led system, the party leads every major aspect of China's economy and society. This includes administrative interventions to ensure economic stability and guide economic growth, such as with 5-year plans and via state-owned enterprises and financial institutions, yet recognizing the market playing a decisive role in the allocation of most resources. Almost every item in this showroom is 3D printed, and these machines can print with diverse materials from plastic, wax, and sand to various metals.
In China, you can source many different types of 3D printers, depends on your need. But in other countries, they may not have so many choices.
This is a classic case of traditional industry players entering the high-tech sector and a new global race. Chinese manufacturers are trying to move up the global value chain.
High-quality development features a shift from focusing on accessibility in the past to an emphasis on quality. Development today cannot simply consider the size of the economy or the speed of growth, as we did in the past, but it requires to give more weight to economic structure and the way of economic growth. We take innovation as our primary driver of growth. We cannot simply rely on investment on real estate to drive development, as huge investment will trigger many problems.
It is to shift from seeking speed to quality. In plain words, it is to raise productivity for all and balance input and output. We cannot always stay at the low end of the industrial chain, but rather to move from the low to mid-end up to the high end. China's exports should never be like the past, when profits of hundreds of millions of stocks less than that of one Boeing aircraft. It is to integrate the strategies of expanding domestic demand with deepening supply-side structural reforms. It is, in fact, to boost the dynamism of the domestic economy while engaging at a higher level in the global economy.
Expanding domestic demand, deepening supply-side structural reform, promoting integrated urban-rural development, coordinating regional development. Concrete measures will continue to be taken to expand economic output and make it sustainable.
To build a modern socialist country in all respects, we must first and foremost pursue high-quality development. Development is our party's top priority in governing and rejuvenating China. For without solid material and technological foundations, we cannot hope to build a great modern socialist country in all respects. We must continue reforms to develop the socialist market economy, promote high-standard opening up, and accelerate efforts to foster a new pattern of development that is focused on the domestic economy and features positive interplay between domestic and international economic flows.
Pursuing high-quality development as our overarching task, we will make sure that our implementation of the strategy to expand domestic demand is integrated with our efforts to deepen supply-side structural reform. We will boost the dynamism and reliability of the domestic economy while engaging at a higher level in the global economy. And we will move faster to build a modernized society. We will raise total factor productivity, make China's industrial and supply chains more resilient and secure, and promote integrated urban-rural development and coordinated regional development, so as to effectively upgrade and appropriately expand China's economic output.
I start with what China's high-quality development is not. It is not export-driven, not low-cost, not low-value-added products. It is not energy-intense, not polluting, not heavy industry. It is not excessive investment in real estate and infrastructure fueled by massive fiscal stimulus programs. Rather, China's high-quality development means generating higher gross margins in order to pay workers proper salaries and to reinvest in R&D. Easy to say, but how to generate higher gross margins, which means that buyers in a market economy must be willing to pay higher prices. This can happen only with specialization. Higher margin products and services must have unique features. Innovation, obviously, is key. This is a solar farm in China's 7th largest desert. It is the world's largest solar farm in a desert.
The first thing we did was to level the ground, because the slope cannot be more than 15 degrees. Another thing is that when we install the foundation for solar panels, we can inject water into the hole to make the sand effectively fixed.
When sunlight hits a solar panel, the energy is absorbed by solar cells. The process generates electrical charge. To harvest more energy from the sun and turn it into electricity is the goal. These solar trackers help keep solar panels always facing the sun, which increases solar cell efficiency to over 20%. That's 10 percentage points higher than a decade ago. With indigenous innovation, China has become one of the world's foremost developers of renewable technology, but its overall strength needs to be increased further.
Universities, research institutes, and some leading high-tech enterprises play the main role in innovation. These are the entities involved. Key technological breakthroughs are to be done by improving the new system for mobilizing national resources. We must nurture a culture of innovation, such as encouraging dedication to science, the spirit of master craftsmen, and introducing high-level innovation talents from overseas to form an ecosystem for innovation that is competitive internationally. Demand is the lever. Our scientific and technological innovation cannot be separated from major national demand. We have to spur innovation through market demand and then turn it into results to form a virtuous circle.
China seeks an innovation-driven development strategy, which, as described, takes science and technology as the primary productive force, talent as the primary resource, and innovation as the primary driver of growth.
In fact, since the mid-1990s, the strategy for invigorating China through science and education was proposed and is written into documents of all following national congresses. This time, however, in the report to the 20th National Congress of the CPC, in an unprecedented move, it was listed as an independent section and illustrated with one entire chapter to talk about innovation. Our development confronts some outstanding contradictions and issues. Imbalances and inadequacies in development remain a prominent problem. There are many bottlenecks hindering high-quality development, and China's capacity for scientific and technological innovation is not yet strong enough.
Sanctions on China's high-tech industry are not only escalating, they are also likely to be long-term. Indigenous innovation is obviously essential for China to achieve full modernization and national rejuvenation. But high-tech innovations that are both leading edge and commercially viable are a challenge. They cannot be legislated by central command, nor guaranteed by flowing capital. Huge allocations of government funds are not a surefire recipe for success, as China learned in its early forays into semiconductor R&D, with bottlenecks, inefficient allocations of capital, poor quality companies jumping in, and even outright corruption and scandals. The government learns and modifies. This is China's fundamental reform principle. What is needed are incentives for tech entrepreneurs, support for innovative small and mid-sized companies, a better system of meritocratic reward in science and technology, irrespective of seniority or internal politics. In addition, while innovation in science and technology is the most obvious application, innovation can come in many forms, such as design, brand name, and customer convenience. For good reason, innovation has been the first of President Xi Jinping's 5 major concepts of development.
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there to see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London, China Global Television Network. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference.
At last year's China International Imports Expo, the latest new energy models were on display.
The Chinese consumer is very tech savvy and they embrace technology, they like technology, and so there's an expectation that electric cars also have a lot of technologies.
Major global automakers are targeting the Chinese market. Most put as much emphasis on the Chinese market as they do on their domestic market.
We're committed to stay here long term, and we're confident that the car market will grow and will be successful.
In 2018, China lifted foreign ownership restrictions on new energy vehicles. Starting from January 1st, 2022, the limits on foreign venture shares in Chinese automotive manufacturers were removed. This means that China's automotive industry is now fully open to the world.
High standard opening up is a critical aspect of the high-quality development we pursue today. It is crucial for us to build a new pattern of development, which is open and is a domestic and international dual circulation. Today, at the current stage, we indeed need to focus more on domestic demand as we enjoy the advantage of a sizable market. That said, we are not to close the door of opening up, but to accelerate domestic economic cycle by tapping into the potential of domestic demands to better attract international resources.
8.5 million passenger trips, 11.2 million tons of freight. In the first year of its operation, the China-Laos Railway has provided a convenient and efficient means of travel for residents from both countries. The over 1,000 kilometers railway also helps smooth logistics between China and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations.
The Belt and Road Initiative has won increasingly wider support of other countries in the world, in particular the participant countries. By January 2023, a total of 151 countries and 32 international organizations have signed over 200 cooperation agreements on the BRI with China. We've already seen the fruits of many of these agreements. Shortly after the railway between China and Laos came into operation, the freight value has exceeded over $13 billion.
China's high standard opening up first involves rules, regulations, management, and standards. It is in fact an institutional opening up, which is obviously a higher level opening up. This is a crucial aspect. Second, shortening the negative list, because the shorter the negative list is, the lower the thresholds. Third, it is to promote the high-quality development of the Belt and Road Initiative. Fourth, it is to expand a network of high-standard free trade areas.
Opening up has been an integral part of China's reform and opening up policy for now approaching 45 years. So it must be the relatively recent modifier, high standard, on which we focus. What constitutes high standard opening up? Standardization is critical so that policies, laws, and regulations are national and consistent, not local and arbitrary. This enables foreign companies to plan more confidently and invest more wisely. Reducing the negative list, especially in services, enlarges the industrial categories in which high standard attributes, especially innovation, can provide competitive advantage. Luxiang Town in the suburbs of Shanghai is well known for its flat peaches, but the high season for this fruit was very short. A fruit park was established to solve the problem.
The Luxiang Fruit Park is a place that helps farmers sell their products and to increase their income. We've introduced 5 new breeds from Shanghai, Beijing, and Zhengzhou. They stay fresh longer. This gives us a longer harvest season.
Besides technical support and cooperation, land transfers are another factor that contributes to local agricultural development.
Back in the day, we needed to go door to door to ask farmers to lease their land. However, if disagreements arose between households, they would not lease land to each other. This made business development very difficult. Now, with land transfers, it is the village that allocates land collectively, so people can now enjoy stable access to land.
Land transfers actualize resources, which not only help increase farmers' incomes, but also create a better living environment. The standards of living gap between farmers and urban dwellers is narrowed, exemplifying China's path to modernization with an emphasis on common prosperity.
Common prosperity has been the pursuit of generations of our CPC members. In China, we used to see 3 major disparities between workers and farmers, urban and rural areas, intellectual work, and physical labor. Bridging these gaps depends on the settlement of urban-rural discrepancy. Rural revitalization itself represents a crucial pathway. We are to reform the distribution system. The key is giving more weight to work remuneration in primary distribution.
Building a modern country is a great and arduous endeavor. It is said that the next 5 years, 2023 to 2027, are crucial for setting a sustainable trajectory of effective strategies and targeted policies to achieve its national goals.
As the Chinese saying goes, the first blow is half the battle. From the 20th National Party Congress on, we are embarking on a new journey to advance towards the second centenary goal. China must continue to grow and not be swayed by these challenges and risks. That's why the next 5 years are critical.
The goals we set over the 100 years are realized in several stages, like having a relay race. We pass our relay batons to run toward our grand, ambitious goals to finally meet the ultimate target.
The 20th CPC National Congress not only looked ahead 5 years, the traditional mandate of party congresses, but also provided a roadmap for the next 13 years to 2035 and for the next 25 plus years to mid-century. 2049 is the 100th anniversary of the People's Republic of China. To track progress, we follow Chinese modernization, which is the mechanism or path to full socialist modernization and national rejuvenation. This means following its primary components: high-quality development, high-standard opening up, and innovation-driven development. Each has clarity of strategic formulation, but challenges of strategic implementation. 2023 is a critical year as China begins this multi-decade new journey made more challenging by 3 years of the COVID pandemic in lockdown and opening up phases. Look for stabilizing the economy, then expanding domestic demand, coordinating supply-side structural reform, and continuing high-quality opening up in trade and investment liberalization. Key directives: maintain prudent monetary and enhance proactive fiscal policy. Promote private business, tech platform companies, small and medium-sized enterprises, and foreign capital and companies. Support the real estate market with pro-property policies and re-establish consumer confidence and increase consumption. China's GDP now approaches 20% of the world's GDP. This is why, with good reason, the world watches China's economy.